Om Shri Sai Ram. Welcome, dear students. Today's class we are going to read and discuss the lesson Noise, How It Affects Our Lives. So first we'll just take a look at what is acoustics. Acoustics is a branch of physics that deals with the study of mechanical waves in gases, liquids and solids, including topics such as vibration, sound, ultrasound and infrasound. So acoustics is nothing but it's just a branch of physics that deals with mechanical waves in all these different forms, and also it includes topics as vibration, sound, ultrasound, etc. The application of acoustics is present in almost all aspects of modern society, with the most obvious being the audio and noise control industries. So mainly acoustics is used in the audio and noise control industries, as we see even in the picture. A scientist who works in the field of acoustics is called an acoustician, while someone working in the field of acoustics technology may be called an acoustical engineer. So here we see that those people who are working in technology with acoustics, they are called acoustical engineers. And some examples we have for you over here. And if you hear someone's voice reverberate in a church, that's acoustics at play. The wooden chamber and other structures of the acoustic guitar shape the sound that comes or emanates from the strings, hence the name acoustic guitar. So over here we mean nothing but in a church. Suppose in a church, if you're hearing somebody's voice and it's echoing, so what does it mean? It means it's only acoustics. It's acoustics, sound acoustics. And also where we see over here the strings of the guitar, and the sound that we get from these strings is called, because of that sound, it is called an acoustic guitar. Okay, so let's get back to noise, dear students. What is noise? Any unpleasant sound is noise. It's something that makes us cover our ears. It's something we don't like. So it's nothing but when you hear any unpleasant sound, disturbing sound, or something that you don't like, it is a noise. That kind of a sound is noise. And sometimes that noise is so disturbing, we just want to cover our ears, right? So let's look at the examples. The examples are the wail of fire engine, right? That is only. So sometimes when the fire engine is passing by and we hear that sound, it disturbs us suddenly and we don't really like that sound. So it is a noise. The same way, suppose we are driving a car and there is a vehicle in front of us. So we are trying to avoid it. So we have to press the brake and suddenly it's like a sharp noise, right? It's like a sharp noise which is called a screech. That's also very disturbing suddenly. So it is a noise. There again, clap of thunder. So it's nothing but the sound of thunder or the clap of thunder. Thunder sound also we tend to get scared because it's so loud, it's so scary. So these are all examples of noises. And how much sound is too much? At what level the sound become noise? So in the next slide, we'll see that how much of sound is comfortable and how much is not very good for all of our health. Sound measurement. Well, today sound can be measured scientifically. The level of sound is measured in decibels. A decibel meter is used to register sound. So here again, it's nothing but the unit with which we measure a sound is called a decibel. And it's possible only because of our modern science and techniques. So the unit by which we measure sound is called a decibel, and the decibel meter is used to register sound. So here we have the readings 45 to 75 decibels. Most people speak in this range. 50 decibels. This level is most comfortable to the ears. That means it should be pleasing. 140 decibels. Actual pain is felt at this level. Some people experience pain at lower level, which means 45 to 75 decibels. Normally, usually all people are speaking in this range, 50 decibels. So this is a pleasing, comfortable sound for all of us. 140 decibels. So it is a very high level of sound. So we sometimes pain will be felt at this sound. And some people may experience pain at lower level, maybe 130 or even 120 decibels. Now let's take a look at all this. So 0 dB, the short form for decibel is dB, and faintest sound heard by the human ear is 0 decibel. So that's the mildest, lowest sound that any ear can hear. And quiet bedroom, 35 decibels. So in a quiet room, we will experience only around 35 decibels. In a quiet period in a classroom, when it is a very quiet classroom, then probably it will be 50 decibels. Damages the ear, that means it is increasing. When it increases to 85 decibels, there's chance that your ear might be damaged. And 100 decibel, that is quite high, much more higher than your 35 or 50, it can cause hearing loss. So what does it mean? You can become maybe deaf, maybe partly deaf or even totally deaf at 100 decibel or more than that. Let's move on to noise pollution. Noise pollutes our environment. Environment is nothing but atmosphere, the surroundings around us. Noise pollutes our environment just as much as smoke, foul water, dirty air, and litter. It can cause illness and deafness. What do we mean? See, sometimes there's smoke, dirty water, water may be smelling, and it can be dirty air. Litter is nothing but garbage, rubbish, garbage. That is litter. So, all this usually causes illness. All these things cause illness, and noise pollutes. That means noise is harmful to our atmosphere, it's harmful to human beings. And what can be the result of this? When there is a lot of noise, it can cause a lot of diseases, it can cause deafness, right? Let's go ahead. The human body never gets used to noise. It continues to react even though a person thinks he or she has become used to the already surrounding noises. For instance, Nasir, who lived in an apartment on a busy street, often boasted that he could sleep through any kind of noise. He claimed he just didn't hear it. So, what happens? Our human body actually never gets used to noise and it continues to react. Though we think that, okay, all is fine and the surrounding noises don't affect us, it's not so. It might be affecting us internally. We might not just be realizing and understanding that. So here we are giving the example of a boy called Nasir. So he was living in an apartment, in a flat, on a very busy street. And busy street means there could be a lot of traffic on it, or there could have been a lot of shops on it, or probably many people selling something and shouting that buy this or buy that. So what did Nasir do? He said that he can sleep and the noise doesn't bother him at all. He doesn't hear it. He can sleep with any kind of noise, means however loud it is, he can sleep. So, well, Nasir could sleep through the roar of traffic and the blare of a television set in the next apartment. But he didn't know that while he slept, his body was reacting to the stress of the noise. So, Nasir thought that he can just sleep even if the traffic is so loud, or even if the television set, there's a lot of volume coming from the next door apartment through that television set. But his body was reacting. So let us see now how his body is reacting to the tension of the noise. A doctor in West Germany, after studying the effects of noise, concluded that sounds heard by persons when they are asleep can cause danger to their hearts and blood vessels. Maybe this was the reason why Nasir had headaches. Noise causes the blood vessels in the brain to expand. It brings on pain. So, what's happening here? In West Germany, one doctor did research on the effects of noise, and finally, he said that when the person is sleeping and there's a lot of noise, it can actually cause danger to the person, to their hearts and blood vessels. So, that is why maybe actually Nasir was having headaches, but he didn't relate the headache to the noise. He just thought it's a headache, that's it. But what was actually happening was maybe it was causing danger to Nasir's heart and his blood vessel. So, noise causes the blood vessels in the brain to expand. So, when the blood vessels expand, it is dangerous for any human being. And what happens as a result? It will bring any kind of pain. In different forms, pain will be experienced. So, that's what Nasir was having. That's why he was experiencing pain in the head, and that's why he was having headaches. Another doctor was researching the effects of loud music by talking to players in a rock band. One of them called out, "Speak up, doctor, we can't hear you." The doctor discovered that all the players suffered from some hearing loss and two of them were partly deaf. So, actually, another doctor researched the effects of loud music. How did he do it? He spoke to some players in a rock band. That means rock band is nothing but a music band, music rock band. So he was speaking to these players in the music band, and when he was speaking to them, suddenly they all told the doctor that, "Doctor, we can't hear you. Can you speak a little louder?" So that time the doctor realized that most of them had some hearing problem. They couldn't hear properly, and also on further research, he found that two of them were partly deaf, means not fully deaf but partly deaf. So the noise level of the music they played ranged from 105 to 115 decibels, and they played for more than 11 hours every week. Is the length of time, often hours and hours of being exposed to loud noises that damages the sensitive part of the inner ear. So why actually he discovered that all of them were having a hearing problem and two of them were partly deaf. Do you know why that was happening? Because they were playing music that ranged from 105 to 115 decibels. And in the previous slide, we saw that 100 decibels is dangerous for the human being's health and also mental health also it can affect. So as a result of that, and they were also playing for more than 11 hours in 7 days. That means they were exposed to a lot of high noise levels during this time when they played. Not just playing students, but they must have been even practicing. So even when they were practicing, probably the more they were playing for a long time, and that's why it was affecting them. Not just it was affecting their health through their ears. And so that's what in the research they found, that is the length of time, often hours and hours of being exposed to high levels of noise. So that damages the sensitive part of the inner ear. Actually, our ear, and it's a sensitive sense organ, right? So that's why it gets damaged at high levels of noise. So what can we do? So let's see. If you start thinking about the harmful effects of noise, you will become quieter yourself. There are many steps you can take to cut down noise. At school, for instance, instead of slamming books on a desk, place them quietly. Instead of walking noisily through the halls, walk quietly. So, what can we do? So, to avoid these dangerous effects of noise, so if we think about it closely, we will become quieter ourselves. We will also maintain a little more silence when we think about it. And there are many steps for cutting down noise. They have given us 2 steps. So let's look at the 2 steps. The first step is, instead of putting books, slamming is nothing but you will be just putting your books very noisily and violently on the desk or table. So instead of doing that, what you can do, you can just keep them very silently, very quietly, gently. And instead of walking noisily through the halls, walk quietly. So see, many people have a habit of walking noisily. They'll be swinging their arms and their legs and making all sorts of movement. So that raises the noise levels. But instead of that, walk gently and quietly, right? And also, what else is suggested is at home, use one mechanical device at a time. In other words, don't run the vacuum cleaner and the washing machine at the same time. Turn down stereos, radios, tape recorders, and television sets. And don't turn on more than one at the same time. Many cities have passed strong anti-noise regulations. So let's take a look at this. So in all our houses, we have many mechanical devices, many machines, and one could be a vacuum cleaner. Vacuum cleaner is a machine which we used for cleaning away the dust from maybe our carpets, floors, sofa, and so many other things, and washing machine. So they are suggesting that don't run the vacuum cleaner and washing machine. Why is that? Because both will be making noise at the same time, and instead of one machine, two machines are running. So the noise will be much more, and it can damage the ear. It can damage your health. So it's better to run one machine at a time. And it's also suggested that you keep the volume down in the radio, tape recorders, and television sets whenever you play them. And the same thing is repeated here, that at one time play one thing. So if you're playing the television set and radio, can you imagine how it will be? It will just be, it will be very disorienting. You can neither focus on the TV nor on the radio. So play only one thing at one time. Many cities have passed strong anti-noise regulations. So we are aware that big cities have passed laws like after 11 should cut down on the noise, right? Some people might be having parties at their houses or in some hotels. So they put the music at very loud volumes, which can be affecting them and also to the other people around. So that's why they have passed many laws to bring down the noise levels. Progress is being made towards a quieter world, but if we want to get rid of the rattle, bang, and roar all around us, we must start being quiet ourselves. So here, what we find is that in our modern society, they're trying to make the world a quieter place. But if we want to do that, what do we need to do? We have to get rid of the rattle, bang, and roar. These are nothing but they're all loud sounds, loud noises. Rattle, bang, and roar are all loud noises. And so, if we reduce all these, then we can move towards a quieter world, definitely. And so, it has to start with ourselves. So, we must start being quiet, a little more quieter than what we are already. Okay, so now we'll come to the glossary or the meanings. Wail. Wail means nothing but crying in a loud voice. Screech. Screech is make a harsh sound. Like say when you brake on your brake in the car when you're driving, it is a screech. The sound produces a screech. And clap. When you clap, of course, there will be a loud noise. You can clap softly or you can clap loudly. But when it is associated with thunder, it will be a loud explosive noise. Decibel, unit for measuring the loudness of sound. Blare, blare is a loud sound or noise. Slamming, shutting or dropping something violently and noisily. Previously we saw slamming the books. So slamming the books is nothing but putting the books or dropping them violently, noisily. That's all. And we have rattle. That is also, rattle is making a short, sharp and a quick sound. Now we will come to, did you know every exposure to loud noise destroys some cells in our body? Noise pollution is a major threat to the quality of human lives. The noise made by exploding crackers can cause permanent hearing loss. If nothing is done about noise pollution now, a great percentage of future generations will have damaged hearing. The Supreme Court passed an order on July 18, 2005, banning noise from all sources at night and restricting noise in all public places during the day. So, let's just take a look at each point. Every exposure to loud noise destroys some cells in our body. So, when we listen to loud noises, what can happen? Some cells in our body can be destroyed. It means even the good cells can be destroyed, which means we are damaging our health. And noise pollution is a major threat to the quality of human lives. So when we listen to loud noises over a long period of time, the quality of human lives goes down. That's because our ability to concentrate and focus also comes down when we are in constant association with loud noises. And when we burst crackers, I'm sure all of you burst crackers on Diwali. And this Diwali, just observe and see. When you're bursting crackers, there are a lot of loud noise is made. And also some people can become permanently deaf, or they could have a hearing problem. If nothing is done about noise pollution now, so now if we are not going to take any steps towards noise pollution, a great percentage of our future generations, means in times to come, in our future generations, they can face a lot of hearing problems. And Supreme Court, as we already discussed, that's what they have made, anti-noise regulations and laws banning noise at night and also at public places during the day. Now we'll come on to a very interesting activity time for you. Listen to the sound around you at different times of the day, like early in the morning, during the day, at dusk, and in the night. List the various sounds you hear and identify which of those are noise. For example, we hear chirping of birds early in the morning. Is it a noise? You also hear sound of cooker whistle in the morning when your mother cooks for you. Is it a noise? Okay, so I hope this is actually an activity time for you. It should be interesting and we would like you to enjoy it. So I'm just going to guide you through it, but finally you will have to do it. So at different times of the day, like early in the morning, during the day, at dusk and in the night, just listen to the sound. Just listen to the sound and absorb it. Maybe in the morning, during the day, and the evening and the night. And also, when you hear the different sounds, try to identify whether it is a loud sound or whether it is a soft, soothing sound. So here we have given you an example. When you hear the birds chirping sound in the morning, maybe say at around 6 o'clock or 5:30. So what do you feel? Do you feel it is a calming, soothing, very peaceful to your ears? If it is if it is peaceful, soothing, it is definitely a soft sound. And when you hear the sound of a cooker whistle in the morning, what do you feel? Suppose you're sleeping and your mother is cooking. The cooker whistle is just suddenly, it wakes you up. Don't you feel disturbed? So, would you label it as a noise? Would you label it as a loud sound or a soft sound? You decide and you work on this activity. Distinguish between loud and soft. So we have another activity for you which we hope you will enjoy. Here we have these different symbols, different pictures for you. So I'm not going to point out to all of them. I'm just going to briefly just show you 2 or 3, and you will look at all of them and decide whether they are loud and soft. So here we have the feather. Uh, when you just handle the feather, how do you feel? What kind of a noise it makes? You just identify that, right? And then there is a drum here. So when you hear somebody playing the drums, how is the sound? Just notice it, observe it, and just make out whether it is a loud sound, soft sound. Then we have a lion there, and the lion, when it makes a noise, we call it the roar of a lion. So how is it? Is it a loud sound? If it is a loud sound, it will be called a noise. And here again, we have a baby crying. We have a cat sleeping there and snoring. We have a pig here making noise. We have a train engine with steam coming out. We have thunder there with lightning. So you just look at these pictures and identify which is a loud sound and which is a soft, soothing sound. And you will be able to make out for yourselves what is noise. And now this is a very important aspect which is being discussed. Why silent people are successful. Let's take a look at it. Silent people are great planners. They are very creative. So why are they great planners? What do they do differently? Can you tell me? Okay, so they plan their day, they plan their programs, they put in a lot of thought into it, and they are silent when they go about their planning. They are also very creative. Maybe they make a lot of charts, they list down notes, they make mental notes in their mind. They are good listeners. So, what does it mean? They speak less, they talk less, and they listen more to other people. They listen to their surroundings. So, they are very good at listening. And then, next one is they choose their words carefully. So, since they talk very less, they choose their words. They are very careful about what they speak. And when we speak, students, we are using energy. When we are quiet, we are storing that energy within ourselves. So we have more storage of energy. And then what else are these silent people doing? They are great observers. Just do this for a day and see. Just talk a little less, and what will you do? That time you will definitely watch all around you what people are doing, what is going on, how things are being planned, how they are being executed. So you learn a lot through that, right? So be a great observer. Silent people are great observers. And also they know their priorities. So they know what to give importance in the list, whether what is important. So they go about it like that, and then they can gain trust easily. Here again, when people speak less, this is actually an exercise for you. You can think of somebody who talks very less, and those people definitely you tend to have more confidence and more faith in them. These people, silent people, they are successful. Why are they successful? Because they are very aware of their thoughts. They know what they are doing and how they should be going about it. And they also have very good self control. So they know how to control their thoughts, their mind, and how to organize everything in their lives. So these were the features of silent people. And by silent people, what do we mean? Means definitely there will be a lot of less sound. They talk very less. So that was about the chapter noise, how it affects our lives. And please do go through that activity, do it and enjoy. Keep learning, improving, keep smiling. Thank you.